All right, so hunger and how to deal with hunger during the fat loss phase. First of all, let's clarify what exactly is hunger and what kind of hunger we're talking about, because even though it should be common sense of what feeling hungry actually is, I feel like because of the amount of processed foods that we eat on a daily basis, and because of most people's lifestyle, we end up forgetting what exactly is physical hunger. And we're kind of scared and afraid to feeling hungry. So the first thing that I wanted to address here, being hungry is not an emergency. You're not going to die. Nothing bad is going to happen if you don't eat for a few hours. Trust me, you have enough fuel to get you by. But physical hunger is different than cravings, which is different than emotional hunger, which is different than just habit eating. So those things are a little bit different, but sometimes we call everything hunger. Oh, I'm hungry for Mexican food. Oh, I'm hungry for a piece of chocolate. Oh, I'm hungry for whatever. That's not hunger. That's actually a craving. If you can specify exactly what you want to eat, that's a craving. That's not hunger. True hunger, you would eat anything. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I can eat like anything that you give me right now, like cold boiled eggs with, I don't know, think about something really gross. You would be able to eat because you're really, really hungry. Your body needs that energy at that moment physically. So how to actually know if you're feeling hungry because you need calories, because your body needs food, because it is your body telling you that it needs calories, from cravings and emotional hunger and habit eating. Well, first off, you can do that test. Oh, would I eat? Think about something that is disgusting to you that you wouldn't eat unless you're really hungry. Think about that thing. It could be cold boiled eggs. It could be, I don't know, broccoli, it could be asparagus. It could be something that you really don't like to eat, but you would eat if you were hungry. So if you would eat that, then yes, it's hunger. It's not a craving. If you feel like literally your stomach doing weird sounds and you're starting to almost faint, that's hungry. That's physical hunger, right? But always check yourself before assuming that you're starving and that you think that it is an emergency and that you're going to die. Always check on yourself first. Am I physically hungry, or am I just craving for something that I haven't eaten in a long time? Another good question to ask yourself is, how did I sleep last night? Because when you don't sleep well, when you sleep deprived, when you don't have a good quality sleep and you don't sleep enough hours, that's going to make you hungrier on the next day. Physically hungrier, and it will increase your cravings as well. So both. You're going to feel more cravings, especially for sugary stuff, especially for processed foods, because it's very high in energy and your body will be in a fight or flight mode, and physically hungry as well. So if you didn't sleep well last night, probably that's why you're feeling a little bit hungrier on the next day. Probably that's why you're feeling a slight increase in cravings on the next day. Okay, so knowing that is the root cause, then the next night you're going to ensure that you have a good night's sleep. So again, physical hunger is normal, is not an emergency. You're not going to die. You would usually eat whatever because you're just really physically, your body needs calories. It's your body telling you that it needs calories. If your body's telling you that it's hungry and it needs food and you can't eat at that moment, don't worry. Take a deep breath. Again, it is not an emergency. It can wait until you have your next meal. Or you can take a glass of water, you can drink a glass of water and just make a decision, a more conscious decision, instead of just grabbing something because, oh my God, if I don't eat right now, I'm going to die. Right? So it is normal. Cravings, you're telling yourself that you're hungry for something specifically, right? Oh, I'm hungry. Okay, let's have Mexican. Not in the mood. I'm hungry. Let's have a pizza. Not in the mood. If you're not in the mood for something, then it's not hunger. It's just a craving. And cravings, it is also normal to increase during a fat loss phase because you're going to be on a calorie deficit, and that's your body telling you that you're not giving it enough energy. So it is normal to experience a little bit more craving. A very good way, and the best way to actually dealing with cravings, is to reduce them. How do you reduce cravings? By eating more veggies and eating more protein. It's incredible how that can be effective for reducing cravings. Yes, doing flexible dieting, you can eat pretty much whatever you want as long as it fits your macros, as long as you hit your protein. But when you eat more whole, natural foods, more protein, tons of veggies, a big ass salad every day, it's going to nourish your body and it's going to reduce the appearance of cravings. The more processed food you eat, the more you want to eat them. They are engineered for that purpose. There are chemicals on processed foods that makes us want to eat more of those. Can we eat those? Absolutely. We're not in a cave. We can eat some processed foods, but especially if you are in a fat loss phase, that's going to not keep you satiated for longer. So you're going to feel hungrier more often. And it's going to, the chances of you eating more than you actually should be eating is higher because those foods are very, very hyper palatable, AKA delicious. And you're going to want to eat more. Okay, so in a fat loss phase, if you have like lower calories to play with, the more whole foods you eat, the more natural foods you eat, the easier it'll be for you to stick to those calories because you're going to have less hunger and less cravings. Okay. Now, the third and fourth topics here about hunger, emotional hunger and habit hunger. Emotional hunger is basically those ones that we've all had. We start eating our feelings. There's something that we don't want to deal with that makes us want to eat a lot. That could be anxiety, that could be stress, that could be sadness, that could be even happiness. Some people, when they're super happy, they tend to eat a lot. They go out and eat more. Some people, when they're anxious, they tend to eat a lot. Some people are the opposite. They don't eat when they're anxious, but they eat a lot when they're bored. So always check on why you're going to grab something to eat, right? That helps bring awareness to what you're doing. Because it's very easy, especially if you're working from home, especially like if you're like a few steps away from your pantry, from your fridge, super easy to just distract yourself from the work that you have to do and just go look for something to snack on. Sometimes that's a planned snack, that's totally fine. Sometimes it fits in your macros, totally fine. Sometimes you didn't plan for it, but you're just bored and you want something to eat and you just go for the first thing that you find. And then when you see, there it goes, 500 calories that you could have saved for something really delicious that you would really enjoy. Because most of the things that we snack on out of boredom or out of anxiety, they're not enjoyable. Like it's just 3 to 5 minutes that we shove those things down and we don't even feel the taste. It's not even that good. And we could have saved for a moment that, I don't know, with your husband, with friends, with family, that you could really enjoy that meal, that moment, and make those calories, quote unquote, worth it. Right? So always check on yourself. If you catch yourself mindless eating or looking for something to eat, check yourself. Am I physically hungry? No. Am I craving something specifically? Not really. Am I trying to distract myself? Maybe. Maybe I'm just trying to eat because I'm bored. Maybe it's because I'm really anxious and stressed out and I can't deal with that feeling. That can go really deep into emotional eating. That's a very deep and complex topic that I don't have all the tools to work with. If you have serious problems with emotional eating, emotional hunger, eating your feelings, binging, and things like that, yes, there are strategies that you can apply to be more conscious about the problem and to actually implement strategies to become more aware and change some habits. But a counselor or a therapist would be the best person to help you throughout that process, because it could be a deeper trauma, a deeper thing going on in your mind that a counselor or a therapist would be the best person to address those things and to actually help you to solve that problem. So that's for emotional hunger. Always check on your feelings, always check on why you're mindless eating. Okay. And if you're doing so, at least you're conscious of that, right? At least you're not just, oh, I just ate whatever. Oh, I just didn't know what I was doing. No, sometimes you're going to eat out of boredom or out of stress or whatever, and you're going to know that you're doing that out of some sort of feeling. That's okay. What I recommend you to do is to actually journal about it. I'm a really big fan of journaling. And anytime you feel that you're trying to distract yourself from some sort of feeling that you don't want to deal with, take a deep breath and journal it out. What is it that I don't want to deal with? What is it? What's happening right now? What I'm feeling, where I am right now, right? Sometimes, and you can address actually the trigger, right? Sometimes, oh, okay, every time I have my to-do list, every time I have a look at, or every time I have a chat with a certain person, I get stressed out and I go grab something to eat, right? So try to look for patterns and try to look to see what kind of feeling you're trying to avoid, and then deal with that feeling, sit with that feeling. There are no good or bad feelings or emotions. And sometimes we just try to not feel those things because they are bad, but they're not bad. It's just that we're not comfortable to deal with those. But the more you experience those things and the more you start feeling those feelings and allowing yourself to feel those feelings, the easier it will become for you and the more awareness you're going to bring to your habits. And now the fourth topic is actually the habit eating. You don't even know why you do what you do. You don't even know why you eat what you eat at the time that you eat. You're not even aware. It's just a habit. You do because you do. Every time you sit on the couch to watch TV, you grab a popcorn. Every time you're with friends, you're drinking beer. Every time something happens, you eat something. You're associated with something to eat. And you're not physically hungry. You're not craving anything. You're not emotionally eating. It's just a habit. And it has to do with your social and environment that you have around yourself. And those things are going to happen when you are in a fat loss phase too. So life doesn't stop just because you decided to lose some weight. Those things are going to start to happening. And what I want you to pay attention to is to bring awareness to those habits. So you're going to eat something because you're with friends. Am I really hungry? Am I really craving this? Do I really love this? Am I eating out of a habit? Blah, blah, blah. I'll ask all those questions first to actually understand why you're eating. Even if you don't change anything, but just bring awareness. Just know why you do what you're doing. And if it's really worth continue doing what you're doing, or if you can replace it for a better habit, like sitting on the couch and watching TV instead of grabbing a bag of chips, you could be grabbing, I don't know, a big salad with tons of protein in it, right? To substitute that habit that was not going to lead you to the goal that you want to have. So always ask yourself, am I truly hungry? Am I physically hungry? How did I sleep last night? How was my last meal? What did I eat last? Did I have enough protein? Did I have enough healthy fats? Am I drinking enough water? And now we're going to hit on water, because your hunger is increased when you're in a fat loss phase. And if you don't drink enough water, it will increase even further, because sometimes hunger and thirsty, they get mixed up. And we're actually thirsty, but we sense and we feel and we think that we are hungry. So always drink a glass of water before you have a meal. Try to insert that habit before every meal. Before every meal, you drink water. After every meal, you drink water. When you drink water, sometimes that feeling that seemed to be physical hunger will actually disappear. You drink water and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I wasn't that hungry. And you just move on with life. So avoid being dehydrated. Drink water every day, and drink water before every meal. That will help a lot with the hunger during the fat loss phase. Okay, so if you drink water, when is it going to be my next meal? That's a good question to have. Am I eating enough protein? Am I anxious? Am I bored? Am I struggling with something that I don't want to deal with? Those are questions that you should be asking yourself. I already addressed, sorry guys, I'm looking on my notes here because I don't want to forget anything here. But heavily processed foods, they tend to make us hungrier. Whole natural foods will actually fill you up. So now, what are some of these strategies that we can implement to deal with hunger and actually go through a fat loss phase much more easier? But before, does anybody have any questions? All good? Great. Speaking of water. Awesome. So physical hunger is normal during a fat loss phase, period, because you're giving your body less calories than it needs. So if every time you sense that you're hungry, you eat something that was not planned just because you're hungry, then you're going to take you out of that calorie deficit that is needed in order to lose weight. So stick to your macros, stick to your calories, and let's just go around that hunger moment. And then on each check-in, I'm going to ask, what were your hunger levels this week? And then if it is out of whack completely and your energy levels are low, your hunger is super high, and you're not sleeping well, and that's affecting your whole process, then yeah, let's address that. Let's see if you need a diet break or a reverse diet or a refeed, or then we're going to address that. But while you are during the week, try to stick to your macros and just go around the hunger with these strategies that I'm going to talk about. The first one is the most underrated thing, the most underrated habit, and the hardest habit I feel for most people, me included, myself included, which is eating slowly. The slower you eat, the more you chew your food, the fuller you're going to feel. If you're in a fat loss phase, you have very little macros to play with. If you eat super fast, you're going to feel even hungrier, because you're not giving your body time to actually digest that food and send the signal to your brain saying that you are actually full and satisfied and satiated. So you got to give your body time. Ideally, we don't want to eat when we're distracted. We don't want to eat looking at our phone. We don't want to eat watching TV. We don't want to eat like thinking of working. We don't want to do those things, because that completely removes our attention from eating, and we're going to just like stuff our face and shovel things down so quickly. And this is something that I have to check on myself on a daily basis because I tend to eat super fast. But anytime I catch myself doing that, I'll just take a deep breath. And actually, this is interesting because we can only taste the food while it is on our tongue, while it is in our mouth. Once we swallow it, we don't taste anything. And we can only taste when we breathe. So if you're eating something really delicious, try to do that. Let it sit on your mouth, in your mouth. Take a deep breath and slowly chew it. You're going to taste it even more, I promise. And the slower you eat, the more you chew the food, the more it's almost like a paste consistency, the easier it is for your digestive system to digest it. That will prevent bloating and gut health issues and motility issues and all of those things. So chew your food almost to a paste, very slowly. Put your forks down, breathe while you're eating. If you find that looking at your phone makes you eat slower, then do it. But if it actually distracts you and makes you feel eat faster, then don't do it, right? So I'm not against looking up on your phone while you're eating. Use whatever strategy works for you to slow you down, to bring your attention to the food that you're eating and tasting it every bite. Another strategy, water before a meal that I just talked about. Even if you're super hungry, even if you're desperate for your next meal, drink a little bit of water first before the meal. That's going to help feeling satiated and fuller for longer. Water after a meal as well. Diet soda, sparkling water, go for it. Coke Zero is like my lifesaver whenever I'm in a deficit. I don't know what it is about Coke Zero, but it just like, it's something sweet, 0 calories, carbonated, fill my belly. Perfect. Volume foods. So be smart about your choices. Luis Felipe is actually a really good example because he lost almost 70 pounds and he engineered his meal plan in a way that gave him a freaking big volume food meals. And he never felt hungry. Because he incorporated a lot of vegetables and a lot of low calorie fruits. So low calorie fruits like strawberry, watermelon, like a pound of watermelon has 100 calories or not even a pound. It's a lot. Same thing for strawberries. So you can eat a lot and fill your belly and with not a lot of calories. Oatmeal, zucchini in your oatmeal. If you've never tried that, you should try. Sounds weird. It sounds gross, but it doesn't taste like anything because zucchini has like, it tastes like nothing. And it gives your oatmeal even more volume. If you don't like whey protein powder on your oatmeal.
How do you do the zucchini? Sorry, Joey, stop. How do you do the zucchini in the oatmeal? Like, do you cut it in pieces, very small pieces, and then?
Yeah, I actually, what is it called?
Shredded. I think shredded, yeah.
Yes, I think so. I think that's shredded.
Shredded or grated, like when the grater?
Grated, yes. Grated zucchini with the oatmeal. So I cook the oatmeal in the microwave with water and half a banana. I like the banana with the oatmeal cooked together because of the taste. But I put it in there, I cook it, and then I grate the zucchini and mix it up all together with the oatmeal. If you don't like protein powder with the oatmeal, you can actually add egg whites. Egg whites is the same concept as zucchini. It tastes like nothing. So you can add egg whites to your oatmeal and the zucchini. It's going to be like a huge ball, and it's going to fill you up. Lots of fiber, lots of protein, and perfect for calorie deficit. I love that mix. Egg whites, oatmeal, and zucchini, and even like a source of fat that I would put in there. I love peanut butter, but even though I love peanut butter, I would put powdered peanut butter because it has, like, again, more volumes, less calories, less fats, for that specific phase, right? For that specific fat loss phase. And I would put like maybe some flax seeds or chia seeds, because they inflate as well. They become bigger. So anything that you can do to fill you up, more volume, less calories. If you blend protein powder, Greek yogurt, strawberry, and frozen strawberries, like a lot of frozen strawberries, a lot of Greek yogurt and protein powder, man, that thing is huge. And it barely has any calories, lots of protein. So find a way to incorporate more vegetables, especially low calorie vegetables, that's going to increase the volume of the foods that you already eat. Another thing that you can do is lower calorie substitutions. Like, instead, if you have like a toast every morning or 2 slices of toast every morning, instead of that, you can have 2 rice cakes, or the little big bread. I don't know if you guys have that in the States, but it's a very thin sliced bread. It has like 19 grams of carbs per 2 slices. So very, very thin. I'm sure you can find at Trader Joe's a lot more options. But look for options that would substitute what you already eat, but with a little bit less calories. It's probably not going to taste the same thing. It's probably not going to be as delicious, but just for that short period of time where you're poor in macros, just find those substitutions that could work. Rice cakes, I love rice cakes for carbs, because you can eat a ton with very little carbs. Cauliflower rice is another thing that can help. You don't have to eat only cauliflower rice instead of regular rice, but you can actually mix it together. You can make like a big stir fry with regular rice plus cauliflower rice plus zucchini, shrimp, and make a big stir fry. Delicious, lots of volume, and lower calories. So you can do that. Avoid drink calories. If you're in a fat loss phase, you have little macros to play with, and you don't want to spend those on drinks. Most of the drinks at Starbucks or any soda, anything that you can drink, pretty much, you can find a 0-calorie version. Again, maybe not as good if you're a person who's used to eating, lattes and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of drinking anyways, but you can find substitutions. You can find 0-calorie options for pretty much everything that you drink, and save up 400, 500 calories just by doing that.
Andrea, in this point, just to add something, the Gatorade, they have actually a version with, I think, 1 gram of carb or 2 grams.
Yeah, Gatorade.
And yeah. And the good thing is actually who is actually starting, not, craving for Coke or any other kind of pop, can save you a lot, because I actually found out this maybe 1 month ago.
The Gatorade,
and actually it's good.
Gatorade Zero.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know actually, and the taste is good. And being honest, I think the Zero, the taste is better than the normal one. Yeah, for me, but
yeah,
just because maybe sugar now is a little bit weird for my taste, but it's something that can save a lot of calories. Plus, if you need something to actually drink, to forget this craving that actually you'll come anyways, actually can help.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. Gatorade and we'll give you electrolytes as well. So pretty much any drink, 0 calorie will help with that, satiating those cravings and filling you up as well. Hi, Livia. Did you want to ask?
Oh, there's one thing too that is helping me. Instead of putting cheese and everything, because I love to put cheese on things, I put Parmesan. I like it's still cheese, but it's less caloric and has more protein and everything. So Parmesan helps as well.
Yeah, it's a good option if you're still with a little bit more macros. I would suggest it again, it depends on how many calories you still have, right? How many macros you are right now. Parmesan cheese is good because it does have a good amount of protein and it tastes good as well. Whenever you're more poor or more scarce in macros, you can go for the fat-free cheeses. The fat-free cheddar is a really good option. Doesn't taste as good as real cheese, but it will give you a little more slices of cheese for less calories, and less fat. Yeah. Fat-free cheddar is really good. I can make like a really good burger, homemade burger with just 500 calories, let's say 500 calories. A very good burger with just ground beef, extra lean ground beef, and fat-free cheddar. And fat-free mayo as well. So pretty much anything you can find a fat-free version or a lower calorie version. You don't have to choose those things, but it can make it easier if you want to have something different, if you want to make a different recipe and you don't want to go over your macros. Those things can help. You're not going to be eating like that forever. You're not going to be eating lower calorie, fat-free stuff forever. Just during that fat loss period, I think it helps a lot. Even 0 calorie Jell-O, like those things can be really helpful. Avoid drinking calories. Always mix fiber and protein in your meals. Always make sure that you have high fiber and high protein. That will keep you fuller for longer. Why? Because it takes a lot longer time for your body to digest protein than it takes to digest carbs or fats. And it takes a lot of time for our body to break down fiber because fiber is not actually absorbed by the body. It is really hard to break it down during the digestive process. So fiber, lots of fiber, plus lots of protein usually will help with you keeping fuller and satiated for longer. Water. I talked about water. Don't forget about the water. Another strategy that you can implement, and this is very individual, is intermittent fasting, which just means that you're going to reduce the window in which you eat. That's it. There's no magic behind it. There's no it's nothing besides the fact that instead of eating throughout 12 hours of your day, you're actually eating throughout, 8 hours. You're reducing the window, your eating window. And by doing that, you can feel psychologically that you're eating more, right? That works for some people, that doesn't work for some people. It is very individual. You don't have to do that. You don't have to fast. And you don't have to fast in the mornings necessarily. Like some people believe that the only way to actually fast is to skip breakfast. But if you're starving in the morning, eat your breakfast and then stop eating, at 4, at 5. Just give yourself like a time of the day that you're going to stop eat. And that can help you to stick to a calorie deficit for longer because you feel like you're eating more in a shorter window of time. That's all that intermittent fasting really is just reducing your eating window so you eat less calories. A lot of people don't lose weight by doing intermittent fasting because they still eat way more than they need in that shorter window, right? So it's actually working against them. So what matters most is the total calories that you eat in a day. Then what matters second is the amount of protein that you eat in a day. How many meals, your meal frequency doesn't really matter, but for some people it works to skip 1 or 2 meals and eat less meals, but bigger ones. So they feel good. For other people, they prefer to eat more frequently, smaller meals, and that keeps them satiated throughout the day. So it's very individual. Test it out, see what works for you, see what feels best for you. As long as you stick to your daily calories, daily macros, and you hit your protein, you're good. The frequency doesn't really matter. Veggies, I cannot stress this enough. Eat your veggies. Make your veggies taste good. Olive oil helps with that. Make sure you track the olive oil. But olive oil helps with that. Salt and pepper. Stir fries usually helps as well. Like you add onion, you add garlic, and in 10 minutes you have a delicious stir fry full of veggies, full of lots of good stuff. And it just becomes a habit too, to incorporate more veggies in your day. If you're just like, if you're having a hard time by eating more veggies, you can start by 1 big ass salad a day. That's it. That's it. You can choose to eat that salad at dinner, lunch, doesn't really matter, but grab a bowl, lots of greens, tomatoes, cucumber, balsamic vinegar, I don't know, lime juice, whatever you like on your salad, and add whatever you want. You can add your protein like chicken breast, tuna, and you can add a good fat source like olive oil or maybe some cashews, some almonds, throw it in there, make a big volume salad and eat it. Get into the habit of eating 1 big ass salad a day if you're just starting out. And adding things like spinach to your eggs, spinach to your smoothies. Spinach tastes like nothing. Majority of the vegetables taste like nothing if you mix it with something else that you already like. So if you mix spinach in your smoothie, it's not going to taste like anything, and it's adding veggies, it's adding micronutrients to your day. So basically, that's how you go around hunger throughout the fat loss process. I guess the main thing here is for you to understand that it is part of it. You will feel hungrier at some point in your journey. Even if you don't feel physically hungry, you might finish a meal and feel like, I could have eaten more. Normal. It's normal. It's going to happen. It's not an emergency. It means that we're on the right track. Actually, if we're looking to lose weight, we need to be on a calorie deficit, and going through that period and just going around hunger and managing that and sticking to that calorie goal, macro goal, protein goal. The more you stick to that, the more consistent you are, the shorter your fat loss phase will be. And then once we're done with that, we're going to reverse your calories back up, increase your metabolism. Then you don't have to look for any of those things. You can just eat good food and feel satiated all throughout. That's the good part. That's how it's supposed to be. Questions? All good?
I have a question. Like, how many Cokes like is okay a day? I know it's Coke, because I do take it, because sometimes when in this phase of the weight loss, I'm so hungry, and I know Coke helps a lot. So, but I think it can also be very harmful for you, right? So I don't know.
So the most recent studies actually show that for zero soda, zero Coke, zero whatever.
Oh yeah, I was zero. Yeah.
But for those things to actually harm your health, you would actually have to drink, I think, 36 cans a day for like years and years and years.
It's
So-
impossible, even if you want.
So it's like
It's
a
impossible.
lot. I'm going to share this with you guys. I don't know if you know this, but I spent almost 10 years without drinking any soda. Not even zero, not even Coke Zero, not even light, not even diet, nothing. Zero soda for almost 10 years because I believed that that was bad for me. Turns out that it isn't that bad. So try to stick to, like, try to do all the checklists that I talked about. How was your sleep? If you're physically hungry, if you're craving for something, if you are trying to suppress a certain feeling, if you're eating out of emotion, if you're eating out of habit, how was your sleep last night? What was your last meal? When is going to be your next meal? Are you anxious? Do all that self-check first. Check your day. Am I eating enough nutritious foods or am I relying on processed foods? Am I eating enough protein and fiber, or am I relying mostly on carbs throughout the day? Am I eating slowly? Am I eating slow? Am I sitting down and actually paying attention to what I'm eating? Am I drinking enough water today? Always have a sip of water before going for the Coke Zero, before going to grab something to eat. Drink some water first. Do that self-checklist first. Make sure that you're having enough fiber and protein throughout the day, that you're eating your big ass salad, that you're eating your veggies, that you're drinking water, avoiding drinking colors, blah, blah, blah. You're doing all that first. Then if you're still physically hungry, when is it going to be your next meal? Right? Ask yourself that. And if it's still a little far, like if you want to actually wait for the next meal, then yeah, go for the Coke Zero. I think like 1 or 2 cans a day, no problem.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, for that to be harmful to you, according to the most recent studies, you would have to only drink Coke Zero pretty much throughout the day.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Which
it's
is not the
impossible. 36
case.
is impossible.
Yeah, you're drinking your water, you're prioritizing that, right?
Yeah.
You're doing all that. So I don't know, how many would you drink on a day?
No, I think for me the max is 2 as well. The max would be 2.
Then it's okay. No problem at all. Okay. Any more questions? No? You guys are quiet today. Very quiet. All right.
Oh, just the last question was about the bread that you said. Just one question. The flat bread you said. Which bread is that?
It's the little big bread.
Where does it tell? Like Costco, Superstore?
I found it at Metro. But you can, I think you
Well, we
can
don't
find
have
it
that.
at Walmart. It is
You're talking about the bread for low carb?
Yeah, I was eating that when I was in contest prep. Let me just find a picture here because
Oh,
They
it's a
have-
blue bread or no?
it's
No.
blue.
Is blue yours?
Yeah, it's blue.
Ah, they have in Costco here. I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's no carb one, right? It's mostly
I eat this one. Is what the hell? Double D? I don't know.
oh
But
yeah,
this
these
one
Weight
is-
Watchers. Me too. Sometimes I eat. It's
Which
50,
one?
But-
50 calories only.
Yeah, so but the carbs are
18 per one slice or 2?
I think it's two
I
slices.
think it's 2.
Okay, that's pretty good.
This is really good.
good.
Pretty much I can eat a lot of other things during the breakfast because I'm saving here. Yeah, I think.
So the one that I'm talking about is this one here, Little Big Bread, Sprouted Power.
Yeah, I've seen that in Costco, I'm pretty sure.
I think David's Killer Bread is also a good one. They also have a thin slice version. I think it's this one, I don't know. But there's always options. And another thing that I didn't mention to you guys, you can, like, we're always striving for balance, to have balanced meals and to build your meals with all three macros, protein, carbs, and fats. But if you're short on macros, it is sometimes a good strategy to be smart about what you eat in the mornings versus what you save up for later in the day. So if you don't care too much about eating a toast or eating oatmeal in the morning, skip that. Focus on protein and good fats in the morning, like eggs with an avocado, for example. And then you save up on carbs for lunch or maybe for dinner. That's a good thing that you can start to implement. So if you're short on carbs, or if you're short on calories in general, right? And you want to save up for later in the day, skip some of the things that you can skip, like you wouldn't mind skipping, like the toast, like maybe rice or maybe pasta, and have just protein and healthy fats, and maybe some vegetables, because vegetables have pretty much zero carbs. And then you save carbs and a little bit more fats for later in the day. If you're going to eat out, or if you're ordering in or something like that, then you have a little more room to play with. That can be done too. And when you eat more, especially in the mornings, if you have a meal rich in protein and healthy fats, usually that will keep you satiated for longer than if you have more carbs than protein and fats. Experiment, try to experiment. Like I said, at the end of the day, you hit your calories, you hit your protein, you're good. But those strategies help just to manage hunger so you can stick to that calorie goal for longer. Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Anything else, guys? No? Okay. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up. And I hope you guys have a fantastic night, a great rest of the week as well. And if you have any questions, if you need anything, just let me know, and let's finish the week strong. Thanks for being here, guys. See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.